Thanks to leader newspapers, it's grand final week in Division 3 and of course preliminary final week Division 1 and 2. The under-19s competition's hotting up and it's semi-final time in the handball as well. Don't go anywhere for the next little while. This is SFNL TV. And welcome to SFNL TV for this week. It's getting exciting, Hammers. We're getting to the pointy end of the final series now. Why don't we get stuck straight into it? Under-19s.
We've got a massive night of football to talk about, of course. The Division 3 coming up very, very shortly. We've got the coach and the captain of the respective sides there. But to start off, in the under-19s on the weekend, we had Dingley 2-6-18 going down to St Kilda City 9-13-67. And great performance there, see St Kilda City straight through to the grand final.
Yeah, tremendous performance there. And Dingley, of course, get another chance in the preliminary final. But in the first semi-final, Hampton 9-12-66 got over the top of Bentley, the reigning champions in the under-19 competition, on 2 goals 12-24. Not great kicking, but the Hammers, who had a great early start to the season, looks like they've won their way through now to the preliminary final the following week.
Well, they certainly have. That's exactly what they've done, Wes. And of course, they will take on Dingley this Sunday at Springvale. It'll be Dingley up against Hampton, as we mentioned before. The winner will go through to play St Kilda City, of course, in the lead up to our Division 1 grand final as well. So massive day, and congratulations to those boys. A little bit of an upset to see Bentley out in straight sets, but nonetheless, congratulations to those three sides that are left in it.
And speaking of under-19s, Hammers, why don't we go straight over to Will and the boys for the wildcard semi-final in the under-19 handball competition.
Let's get over there. Take it away, Will.
Yes, thanks, Wiz and Hammers. And this week's special treat for you, wildcard final. One of these three gentlemen get a second chance, and the winner of today's final will go into the grand final next week. We have Daniel Courts from the Karen Patterson Lakes Football Club, Perry Vargas from St Kilda City, and Rob Moriarty from Bentley. Boys, thanks for being a part of it again this week. And Daniel, why don't you kick us off? Bang, bullseye. Nice one, Stickers. 10 out of 10 again. 15.
Well, that's the accounting's a bit off, mate.
You got to beat Daniel Courts 25. That's not going to do it, mate. 1. Yeah, I think so. Bang, 10, that's better. Well done, Perry. It's 13 from your 3. Rob, let's see how you go. 1. That's 6 in total. Bang, that's the one we're after. Still a little bit behind. Let's go, Daniel. You're in front, 25. So there you go with the left hand. 1. That's 26. 5. 31. Oh, bang, look at that. 41. Well done, Daniel. Terrific stuff. 3. Good start, Perry. 5. 10. Great way to finish. All right, Rob, you need 3 10s to get into the final. Do you think you can do it?
Give it a crack.
May as well, off you go. Oh, good start. That's what we're after. Oh, so close. 31. A 10 will tie. Oh, almost. And very well done to Daniel Courts from the Karen Patterson Lakes Footy Club, taking out the wildcard final with a score of 41. Perry and Rob, thanks for being a part of it this week. Well done, boys. Best of luck for the rest of the year. And Daniel, we'll see you next week for the grand final of the handball competition. Very big thank you to our sponsors, Buxton, Breast Cancer Network of Australia, and of course, Snipers Den. We'll see you again next week for the grand final of the handball competition for the under-19s. Thanks, Wiz and Hammers. Back to you.
And congratulations to Dan Courts there. He's through to the grand final next week. Look forward to that. We'll take a quick break right now on SFNL TV, and we'll be back with Division 2 and 1 right after this.
If you do your knee playing footy, that could mean up to 3 months off manual duties.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and if you're a tradie, that could mean no paycheck the entire time.
Ooh, now that would hurt.
Sure would. It's not like it's that hard to injure yourself. Playing footy, riding your bike, having a couple quiet ones.
Lucky that nose was crooked anyway.
And welcome back to SFNL TV, and Hammers, it's time to talk about Division 2.
Certainly is, and of course last week we'll turn our attention there. It was Oakley Districts 15-15, 105, defeating Murrumbeena 8-12-60, and of course that was in the second semi-final. Great performance. These Oakley Districts now go straight through to the grand final, and congratulations to those boys.
Yes, and in the first semi-final, Hammers, it was Keysborough 11-19-85, going down to Caulfield 19-11, 125. And of course,
fantastic. This was our broadcast game, as you would well be aware of. Connell was great up forward with 5 goals. Beattie with 4 goals was outstanding. It was a bit of an upset, this one. The Bears have done really well, but same amount of scoring shots, but we certainly felt Caulfield were in pretty well full control of this game since, well, pretty well from quarter time onwards, I would have thought.
Yeah, very impressive performance from the Bears, and just sneaking into 5th spot, but they're knocking them over. And right now, I don't think there's many Division 2 clubs that want to play against Caulfield. They're playing some very, very good football.
No, and of course, that means that they'll go up against Murrumbeena, of course, this weekend on the Saturday out at JBO, Jack Barker Oval there in Wetherill Road, Cheltenham. So this promises to be a cracking game, a real local derby too, Wiz, as you would be well aware of. Caulfield up against Murrumbeena. This too will be an absolute outstanding crackerjack match.
Yes, the preliminary final for Division 2 this Saturday at Jack Barker Oval, and we'll get to find out who faces Oakley Districts in the grand final the week after.
Okay, now, Division 1, of course, Wiz. This is what we've got to get into as well. We've got plenty coming up, but Division 1. Let's take a look at first of all, the second semi, which we covered on Saturday last week out at Springvale Reserve. It was Dingley 10-11-71, defeating East Brighton 8-7-55. And we had a little highlights machine playing out there for the Dingoes. Callum McQueen, of course, with 6 goals, was outstanding to watch.
Oh, an exceptional performance by Cal by finishing off the work, but I thought the second half of the Dingoes, when perhaps the Dingoes of old might have been in a bit of trouble and rolled over, they really came to play in that last quarter. It was fantastic football, and credit to East Brighton for taking it up to them all day, and of course they lived to fight another day in the preliminary final. But that was one of the games of the final series. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Certainly wouldn't. Of course, while we're on the Dingoes, don't forget Shane Morwood will certainly be joining us next week as well. So the coach there of the Dingoes. Of course, the other game was the first semi-final in Division 1 was East Malvern 9-5-59 going down to Mordialloc, and I'll tell you what a dream this has been for the Mordialloc Bloods. 8-20-68, not great kicking, double the scoring shots there by Mordialloc, but again, a side that just finished in. They've knocked over St Paul's. They've backed it up with a win over East Malvern. Fantastic stuff from them, and in their first year back in Division 1, find themselves in a preliminary final.
Yeah, and you just wonder whether they're going to finish there. They, again, not a pretty scoreline, not always the prettiest footy, but they get the job done, and they play with tremendous heart. And they've got to believe that they're never beaten from where they've come from this year, and they've got some pretty impressive scalps along the way. So,
of course, the Bloods and the Vampires this weekend in the preliminary final.
Bring some garlic around your neck, perhaps.
Yeah, it could be the way to go. You might need it, but tell you, it promises to be a cracking. I've written Mordialloc off a couple of times this year, I've got to be honest, and I thought they were done and dusted, but they keep proving me wrong, and I'm happy for that to be the case.
Well, I've got to tell you, Hammers, that I rate East Brighton. I really, really do. I think they're a fabulous football team and they're well coached. But I also know that you can't write Mordialloc off. So what I've learned so far is that I'm not going to make a tip just yet. I think this could be one of the games of the final series.
I hope you're right. And as we said, of course, the winner goes through to play Dingley in their second grand final in a row, of course, going down last year to East Brighton. Will it be East Brighton Dingley again this year, or will it be Mordialloc up from Division 2? We'll know around about 5 p.m. Sunday evening who Dingley's opponent will be in the big grand final the following week.
We sure will, and I can't wait. Looking forward to it. All right, we'll be back after this short break.
I can't speak for all clubs, but especially at mine, the environment was very much around gambling instead of the actual game itself. We never really spoke about who we were playing on the weekend because we'd always be talking about, you know, gambling or what multi-bets or little things like that, what horses we were going to bet on, because I don't think people realise once you're saturated with it, it's always in the back of your mind. You know, sport was built for the love of the game and not the odd, and try and bring it back to why we all love sport.
The convergence of sports and gambling has been a concern for us, and I think it's a concern for many in the community. The ultimate purpose of Gambling Is Not a Game is to help sporting clubs disassociate gambling activities and sport, and in particular promotion to underage kids.
And what it really tries to do is engage with sporting clubs, both at an elite level and a grassroots level across the state, and encourage them to think about their environment and how they can play a role in promoting a responsible gambling environment within their club.
From our perspective, for our supporters and for the people that we communicate and touch as a club, it is very important that gambling is not something that can become a problem, then in many cases overwhelm individuals and their families and the people around them, and that's something that we've got to, as an industry and as a community, make sure that we avoid.
Welcome back to SFNL TV, and Hammers, it's time for Division 3.
Certainly, but before we obviously take a big look at the grand final coming up this week, a quick look at the preliminary final over the weekend. It was Mount Waverley 12-8-80 defeating the Moorabbin Kangaroos 9-9-63. So they're through, and of course we'll be up against Black Rock, and of course joining us from Black Rock Football Club, John Burke. First of all, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Hammers.
Rich Mathers as well from the Mount Waverley Football Club, the skipper. In your second season with the Mountain Lions, and certainly it's got to be an exciting time for you.
Yeah, it certainly is, Hammers. Thanks for having me tonight. It's yeah, obviously rolled around again this year. We're lucky enough to make it, and we're just thrilled about it. So we can't wait.
Now, John, this has been a slower burn for you. You've taken over at Black Rock when there were troubled times, turned it around, got some traction, and of course here you are now, just a few years in, coaching them into a grand final. What have you done with the week off?
Yeah, we trained Saturday morning and also last week, obviously. But yeah, had a bit of a run, and then my wife opened up the breakfast bar on Saturday morning. All the boys had nice breakfast before we went up and watched Mount Waverley and Moorabbin. So it's all about just preparing for the day, and we'll keep doing that.
Now, I know Rich isn't going to tell us too much about any sore boys, but John, you certainly had a look. Was there anything that came out of the game that you saw from the Mount Waverley perspective, that there may be any changes there?
No, not this week. They all seem to be okay walking off the ground. It was a pretty tough game. I thought Moorabbin really had a good crack, yeah, both sides really played well, and yeah, I think probably the better team on the day won. So congratulations to Mount Waverley.
Yeah, Richard, Big Luke, not many goals during the finals so far, but a lot during the season. Is he okay? Are you going with a full list this week?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we should have a full squad to choose from this week. Yeah, Luke's he's reeling after a couple of lean weeks, so he's ready to go this week, and he can't wait to get out there. Obviously, he's been a spearhead for us this year and really integral part of our team, so he'll be up and about. Don't worry about that.
And of course, the ground, guys, you both had a look now at Ross Street down at Heatherton. Is there anything there in particular that would make either of you sort of change the way you go about things?
Not from our perspective. It's a big ground, and I think we have pretty fit boys and quick boys, so hopefully it'll suit our game. Having the big ground, yeah.
No, not at all, Hammers. In regards to us, we'll play each ground on its merits, and we obviously had a hit out there a couple of weeks ago, and got a feel for the way things are. So no doubt we'll work on that leading into the game, and we should be right come game day.
Now, Berkey, Joey Krieger came to you late in the season after having disappeared for a little while. He'll be playing in the grand final?
Yeah, if he gets out of bed and gets here on time, it'll be good to see him there. he's not a bad player, and I reckon he'll make a spectacle of himself as usual.
Very, very good.
Won't miss the bus to the ground then. That's what you're saying. You're not going to pick him up in the bus on the way through.
No. He's old enough to get himself there, and I'll be sitting there waiting for him.
And of course, Rich, Jared Wilkin now. I think this will be grand final number 7. I've got a feeling for him. Of course, that game we were talking about earlier against Blackrock, he actually won the medal for best player on the ground that day. Unfortunately, in a loss, which probably hurt, but I'm sure he'd be certainly looking forward to a bit more silverware.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's itching for this week. He's got a full trophy cabinet with his league BNS and all that sort of stuff. But the grand final victory is the one he wants, and he's absolutely going to be at his best this week. You can guarantee that. And where he lines up, not too sure at the moment. He's a bit of an everywhere man for us. So wherever he plays, no doubt he'll do the job.
Well, I certainly called him last year. I know it was only a half, but he took about 18 marks in that first half, was absolutely dominant.
So, the Mountain Lions and the Jets have met 3 times during the season so far, boys. Fairly close ones?
Yep, the first one was 8 points and the second one was 1 point at our ground.
Right.
Now, before going back before you were there, of course, Rich, there was also the grand final. I think it was 2007 between your two clubs last time you met in the grand final. That was an actual draw, Wiz, so I don't know if you recall that.
Yes.
And, went into extra time, and of course Blackrock getting the chocolates there by a point in extra time, which was a spilt ball, I think, from memory, by the Mountain Lions on the line. But I certainly recall the kick that went in there. It's Mordialloc reserves, so there's a fair chance this is going to go right down to the wire again.
Well, one would think so, and it certainly can't be a draw, Hammers, this time.
No.
We'll go to extra time. We will have a winner.
And of course, Wiz, you've got the cup there that the boys are playing for this weekend.
This is the actual cup,
Yes.
and just prior to the final siren sounding, there'll be the label put on with the winner's name on it, and one of these boys will get their hands on it sometime on Saturday afternoon, and we'll be there. I can't split them, Hammers. I can't tell you who's going to win. I've got no idea. In fact, if you've seen my tips during the year, you know that's true. But good luck to you both, boys, and thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks,
Cheers.
boys. Cheers.
The Division 3 Grand Final coming up this Saturday at Heatherton Recreational Reserve.
If you can't get there, Wiz, always just tune in to 88.3 Southern FM, and it'll be broadcast live from 2 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. Okay, now we've got a competition. We've got some tickets to give away to the SFNL Grand Final Breakfast, and that is all you've got to do is simply tell us what you want to see on SFNL TV next year. So anything you want to see, let us know. Send your entries to media@sfl.com.au. Entries close midnight on Sunday.
Terrific, yeah, great competition and good luck with that one. Now, speaking of the Grand Final Breakfast, it's coming up on the 18th of September at Woodlands Golf Club. Going to be there by 7 o'clock in the morning. Tickets are $45. Contact the league office to make a booking. It's going to be a fantastic breakfast, Hammers.
Fantastic. Guy McKenna, I believe, is joining you.
Yeah, he is. Tickets are selling really fast. Don't want you to miss out, so get a hold of the league office and book yourself a seat now.
Okay, now, SFNL Live. Can you fill us in, Wiz? I'm not across it at all.
Well, I did try and install this on your phone the other day. It's really easy, but basically it's a web-based mobile phone app for your mobile devices. What it enables you to do is pick up all the live scores from SFNL games and the direct feed from Southern FM of the match of the day, all at the touch of a button on your mobile phone. So if you haven't got it, get it. Don't forget AFL 9s, by the way, that's a pre-season competition out here at Linton Street. Fantastic, get your men and your women, netball and football together. Should form a great part of your pre-season training. Contact the league office for details. That starts in October. All right, that's about it for this episode.
Goes quick again.
It sure does, mate. It's there's only one to go. Of course, it's coming up to the business end of the season. We said, I'm excited. Grand finals in the air. The weather's changing a little bit. Look forward to seeing you all.
Hay fever's in form again.
Oh, it is a little bit. Look forward to seeing you all at the footy, and we'll talk to you again next week.
See you next week.